guest today is Lynn THompson, co-host of the national daily show, The 700 Club in Canada. She has interviewed hundreds of celebrities and many great men and women of faith, but Lynn has an inspiring story of her own. After a series of personal crises, God pulled her out of her brokenness and led her to where she is today. Please welcome with me Lynn THompson. Hi, Laura.
Hi, what an extreme honor it is. This beautiful, beautiful place and your music and your worship. It's just a privilege to be here.
Well, we're so glad to have you here, and of course we're in Canada. We have a big following in Canada, and so it's always great to have somebody from our northern brothers and sisters. And
yes, it's just a lot warmer
here.
a lot
warmer
and we have been enjoying the weather. Somebody from here said it was cold yesterday, and we're like, this is not cold.
It was close to this morning, 61 degrees when I woke up, and I
beautiful.
Did my galoshes and
61, can't get better. Wow.
Hi, I'm Ziana from transvoicelessons.com, and in this video, I want to show you how I turned
this voice
into this voice, okay? It took me 2 years, but I'm going to tell you in 1 minute. If you do all these things, you'll be able to yell, you'll be able to cough. It doesn't matter, because we're changing the instrument, not our behavior, okay? So 1, the first thing we have to deal with is pitch. Pitch is pretty obvious. In fact, I think everyone's spending too much time focusing on pitch. I can actually pass and sound like a girl at a low pitch, or I can sound like a boy at a high pitch. It doesn't matter. Pitch is not that big of a deal. Okay. 2, the next thing that we have to deal with is larynx height. Okay. So let me just demonstrate the sound.
So if I'm a very low larynx position like this, I start to raise
the larynx up, start to raise the larynx up, start to raise the larynx up. Okay. So that's a huge deal. The larynx height is super important. 3, engaging the AS. So the AS, when it's engaged, it sounds like this. We need to bring some of that into our sound, okay? 4, vowel formation. So your becomes your becomes your becomes e, your e becomes e, your e becomes e, right? So we have to shift all of our vowels brighter. 5, so consonants formation. We're going to change the way and where we actually form our S's, our CH's, our plosives, etc. And when you combine all those things together, you can yell, you can do whatever you want in a girl voice. It really doesn't matter.
So, but now you're Canadian, but you weren't born in Canada. You were born in Uganda?
I was born in Uganda, East Africa, small white child, Bobby. And I had missionary parents. I spent 8 years in Uganda. Idi Amin came into power, you might remember, back in the 70s. He brutalized 500,000 of his own people in Uganda. They came and they picked my dad up one night in 1973. He brutalized 500,000 of his own people in Uganda. They came and they picked my dad up one night in 1973. And they gave us about 48 hours to get out of the country. I was almost 8, and that was when my life drastically changed. Almost 8, and that was when my life drastically changed, you know, along with my parents. We left Uganda. I remember, though, that the people there loved God. They loved to worship. I grew up in a culture of worship, and so my heart was blessed. I remember my dad preaching one day and just inviting people to come to the altar and to pray. And as a 6-year-old girl, I had tears streaming down my face, and I said, God, use my life, make my life significant. I pray that you will honor the destiny and the calling that you have put within me, formed in my mother's womb. I understood the scriptures, and so we got home to Canada. We went up to Tuktoyaktuk. I knew what God said about who we were. I knew what he said about our sin and that he had removed it as far away as the east is from the west. But as I got older and I met a young man and I decided that he would be marrying me, so I let him know that. And I planned the date, I planned the wedding, I told him what he'd be wearing, and I said, just show up, it's gonna be great. And so I put my arm inside my dad's arm, the doors opened of the wedding day, and I began walking down that aisle, the best, most beautiful dress I'd ever had, 200 guests, invited, and I'm walking down the aisle, and I look up at that man, and all I could think was, who is that? And why did I decide that I needed to get married? I'm pretty immature for a getting to be half-century gal. And my parents knew that, and they had said, do you really think you're ready? You're just 21, why don't you wait? And my parents knew that, and they had said, do you really think you're ready? You're just 21, why don't you wait? And I said, no, I'm ready to fly. I've done everything right. I don't smoke, I don't drink, I haven't had sex before I got married, and I am gonna marry that man. Who is that man? And so I got up to the front and, we said our vows, and that day I said, well, I don't feel a thing. I don't know why I'm doing this, but by golly, I have made this covenant and I'm going to keep it. And I said, no, I'm ready to fly. I've done everything right. I don't smoke, I don't drink, I haven't had sex before I got married, and I am gonna marry that man. Who is that man? And so I got up to the front and, we said our vows, and that day I said, well, I don't feel a thing. I don't know why I'm doing this, but by golly, I have made this covenant and I'm going to keep it.